On today's Locked On Thunder podcast, the Oklahoma City Thunder played elite defense against Luka Doncic. Their run continues to not be normal.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. It's now the number one sports podcast network in the world. Thanks to all of you listening. I'm your host, media member, and beat writer for ThunderOnSI.com, Rylan Stiles. Follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. And on today's show, we're diving into the Thunder beating down the LA Lakers, playing phenomenal defense against Luka Doncic, and this run that continues for OKC to not be normal in any way, shape, or form. Thank you to the everydayers who listen to the show and come up to me in the arena. That's always great. Met some of you tonight. I appreciate that. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. This was such an amazing game from Oklahoma City that once again, we're having to record right after the game from the bowels of the Paycom Center, this time in the Will Rogers room. You can see the cassettes behind me. Look it up, kids. There's a great musical room here in Oklahoma City and the Paycom Center. But the Thunder in this game, second night of a back-to-back, still don't have J-Dub, still don't have Aaron Wiggins, still don't have Ken Richard-Topich. And the Lakers, while they got off to this 8-3 start heading into this game, we've been without LeBron James all season long. They, of course, were still without LeBron James in this game. But the Thunder just absolutely beat them down, and it starts with their defense on Luka Doncic. And heading into this game, you could figure some tired legs on the second night of a back-to-back. You could just simply cast it off as, they're missing two all-defensive members in street clothes tonight in Dub and Dort. And you could have been worried about what Luka Doncic would do to this Thunder roster. He's had success against Oklahoma City. And it was going to be interesting to see how could the Thunder limit Luka Doncic. They didn't limit him. They completely shut him down. They completely took him out of the game. And this was a great effort from not only Cason Wallace, from this entire team. And honestly, you've got to give a lot of credit to Mark as well, because they came up with this system to just blitz and hedge on every ball screen against Luka and put pressure on the back end and rely on their back end rotation to take away the paint as best they could, while also, of course, with those blitzes oftentimes coming off of DeAndre Ayton screens, having bigs have to contest Luka on the outside and help Cason Wallace trap him. The margin for error is so small against Luka because of his playmaking ability off of his three-level scoring ability that it's hard to make him uncomfortable, and the Thunder did that in a fantastic way. There were very, very, very few breakdowns. You can think of one where Cason forces Luka to fumble the ball away twice, and Luka's on a loaded, strong side of the court, and nobody's on the cross court to defend a Rui catch-and-shoot three that Luka got to him with a midair pass. You can think of the one where SGA fouls Ayton as he's a late rotation to Ayton, trying to contest him at the rim whenever you have your center playing high and hedging off of that initial screen. Those are the two plays that you can think of that the Thunder would have wanted to have back, where the Thunder just got beat because of Luka's playmaking and because his role players stepped up for him. Other than that, it was Isaiah Hartenstein. It was Chet Holmgren switching on to Luka Doncic and putting him in traffic and making his life uncomfortable. And this is a testament to this entire team. Jay Will and Brennan Carlson did that job as well, in lesser minutes, of course, than Hart and Chet in the grand scheme of things. But you saw Jay Will come in, and it did a great job picking up Doncic off the screens, forcing him to be a passer. Ayton had 6 early points, but other than that, it was a light night from DeAndre Ayton, considering the pressures that the Thunder are putting on him. And I think that when you looked at OKC, they did a great job of changing up how they defended Luka. We mentioned how heavy they were off of screens. They also let Chet defend them in isolation a couple times. They also let Cason take him in isolation a few times. They let Alex Caruso take him in isolation a couple times. So just whenever the Lakers thought they could maneuver around the looks that the Thunder were giving them, the Thunder changed those looks, and they played back and forth between those two coverages in this game. I thought that this was a phenomenal defensive game from OKC. And you go down the list of Cason, Caruso, AJ Mitchell, who had opportunities against Luka, and the only thing that he had tonight was some ticky-tack calls. But credit to the Thunder, because the ticky-tack calls is not a complaint. That's reality in the NBA. You're going to have to play through a whistle when you're playing a superstar. No matter who the superstar is or where he plays or what his reputation is, they all get calls. They all get the light contact. And Luka got that tonight whenever he could get to the rim, whenever they weren't forcing the ball out of his hands. But that's the key. They played through it. They didn't get frustrated with the foul calls, and they continued to deny him that ability because you can't get a foul call when you're stepping back at the Paycom Center logo. You can't get a foul call whenever you're becoming a playmaker and getting the ball out of your hands because you're forced to. And the Thunder did that. They did a great job of forcing him to never be comfortable in this game. I want to give all the credit in the world to Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace, his screen navigation tonight was Lou Dort-esque. And that's Lou's thing. Not only can he draw the illegal contact on screens and get illegal screens called for the Thunder as another way to get stops, but his ability to fight through them with his physicality and stay attached to guys like Luka is what's been making this Thunder defense so elite in years past. Cason did that tonight. Cason allowed for, while they were hedging those screens, playing level with the screens, and blitzing Luka at times, he allowed for the big to eventually peel off and recover because he got over the screen and he got back in front in a complementary position and defensive position on Luka Doncic. Cason did a great job staying down on the pump fakes from Luka. And again, I do not blame Luka for going to the pump fakes, trying to get his defender in the air and take advantage of it, especially in a night like this where they're putting you in traffic nonstop. But Cason being disciplined enough to stay down and not bite on that as a young player, still as a third-year guy, and someone who, it's impossible not to psychoanalyze here and look at the opportunity that Cason has had the last couple of nights to be the guy. There's no help coming. The National Guard's not coming for Cason Wallace. There's no Lou Dort to take you out. It's your job to defend the head of the snake and Steph and Luka, and he did that phenomenally 2 nights in a row. And Cason Wallace deserves that credit. And the big men on this roster also deserve credit for their ability to show and recover and blitz off screens, because it was an athletic game from iHeart. It was an athletic game from Jay Will. It was an athletic game from Brandon Carlson in spurts. Like, you knew Chet had the ability to do that. Obviously, it's not going to be your daily driver. You don't want the Chet Luka isolations to be your bread and butter, but you knew in a pinch he could handle this matchup with guards on an island. He won you the NBA Finals doing that in a couple possessions. But it was impressive to be able to see Isaiah Hartenstein do that, as we think of him as more of a traditional lumbering big. But the Thunder were a plus 12 in the Luka minutes in the first quarter, and that's when you knew the game was over. I mean, that's when you knew the game was over. Because if you can not only survive, but thrive in the Luka minutes with this Lakers roster, which didn't get a bench point until, the cows came home, you knew that the Lakers were cooked. And for them to be down 2 all-defensive players, and for Luka to have the complement of Austin Reeves, and you be able to shut all that off at the same time, it was very impressive. You forced Luka in this game to not only get a frustration tech, but to settle for bad threes and Hail Marys and Paycom Center triples. And to the point where, if you go back and you watch that game again, as this, I imagine, will be one of the fan favorite games of the year. If you go back and watch that game again, Luka Doncic, the best shot he took all night, as a guy who is able to exploit, dissect, and dominate any defensive coverage against him. The best shot he got all night was a catch-and-shoot 3 from the P in the Paycom Center logo, that green P on the court, that loud, obnoxious green P. A catch-and-shoot 3 from right there with Alex Caruso contesting him late. That was the best shot all night. He missed it. He put up 19 points on 20 shots tonight. 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. He was a minus 31. You won the Luka Doncic minutes and forced Luka to be a minus 31 in this contest. He can only get 7 free throws. And again, I'm not saying that to bash Luka. I'm saying that because he could not get to the paint enough to generate double-digit free throws. Like, think about that. Think about how you've seen this team, whenever they're at full strength, have to defend Luka, where he's often touching the paint. And those paint touches lead to free throws, but they also lead to kick out for wide open threes. Tonight, he couldn't leave the perimeter. He was literally boxed in. And a stat line for Luka that reads 19 points on 20 shots with 7 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a minus 31 while shooting 35% from the floor, 14% from 3, and just 57% from the line. That's without Lou Dort on the floor. That's with Lou Dort in street clothes. And that is the biggest testament to what this Thunder team is, to what this defense is. It's interesting. You think back to the questions of the offseason. How are they going to handle a shortened offseason? Can they really duplicate their historic defense from a year ago? Because if you look at the numbers in the past, right, and you go back and you analyze the defensive leaders team wide in the league year over year, oftentimes that first place team naturally takes a step back. Now they don't plummet by any means, but they also don't retain that number one spot. And the Thunder have done that. And they had a massive bar to live up to, and they've had an all defensive team member not make his debut yet, and another one miss multiple games, and having to play these legendary scores back-to-back nights. It's impressive what this team is, what their identity is, what their roster looks like, and it's not normal. We'll talk about that coming up. But first, I want to say right now, our good friends over at Wayfair, folks, go check out Wayfair today because Wayfair is incredible. And the holiday season, right around the corner, I consider it here, frankly. I'm a big holiday guy. That means it's time to get your house ready, whether you need seating for guests, cozy new linens, or a fun serveware for holiday hosting. Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to make your space shine for this holiday season. The best part is you don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long, up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. It's incredible. You can get anything you need there at Wayfair. If you've ever hosted family for the holidays, you know what a difference a few nice touches can make in elevating that experience. You also know how stressful it is, especially if you don't have everything you need. So make it count in your head. Who all's coming? How many people are coming? What all do we need to upgrade and improve? And get it done at Wayfair. Check them out today. Do not miss the early Black Friday deals at Wayfair.com right now. Shop Wayfair. Black Friday sale ends at the end of the month, obviously, but it's up to 70% off. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Save ends and the sale ends December 7th. So again, the Black Friday sale, 70% off until December 7th at Wayfair.com. Go check them out today. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder podcast on the Lockdown Podcast Network, your teams every day, the number one sports podcasting network that there is. This is the number one basketball team that there is. You everydayers who listen to the show, I appreciate you. But I just want to take a minute because we usually have a nice cadence of how we do these recaps. We usually get into player-specific conversations right now. But for a moment, if you'll indulge me, this was not a normal game from Oklahoma City. To dominate this game from start to finish, to end the Lakers' night before it begins, when the Lakers have the rest advantage and they're down LeBron, who they've been able to navigate without for the course of this season so far, and the Thunder on the second night of a back-to-back, the Thunder are down to all defensive players, one of whom is your second best scorer. They're down their best bench scorer as well. And they not only survived a grueling road trip just now, going from the West Coast back to Memphis, then back to OKC for another 3-game and 4-night stretch and another back-to-back. The Thunder have already played 3 back-to-back series. 7 of their 12 games have been on the road. 2 double overtime wins. A shortened offseason, which people continued to harp on throughout the summer. And let's not brush that aside now, because let's be honest with ourselves. If they weren't 12-1 right now, the shortened offseason would be a calling card of that alternative reality. So a shortened offseason while being shorthanded in every single game. And yet, they're the best net rating in the NBA. They're the best defense in the NBA. The best player in the league who's still improving. An ever-improving core. Like, you can see strides in Cason, in Chet, in AJay, even iHeart. You can go down the list of guys who have improved on this roster. It's all of them. And they were the second youngest team to ever win a championship last year. They did it without enough playoff experience. And it's funny, like, that we all harped on the playoff experience all year long. They finally got it. And we haven't even seen what that experience will do and how it will shape them come playoff time. But nothing will be better than this right now. Here and now, on November 12th, in the year of our Lord 2025, nothing will be better than this. And the Thunder fan base has been spoiled. The success that Oklahoma City has had in less than 2 decades is more than most franchises will ever get. And the first era it was all exciting and new, and you didn't really know what to expect. A lot of you, just became NBA fans when we got a team in Oklahoma City, and you thought maybe this is just the way it is. You go through the shortest rebuild you can possibly go through, and now you're sitting here on the other side with something even better than the first era, which was always going to be hard to top. But there is no better than this. There will be nothing better than this. Like, yes, they're loaded with draft picks that keep getting prettier. After the Mavericks fire Nico Harrison, as Bradley Beal sadly out for the year for the Clippers, and you have their pick swap in what's been a disastrous start to the year for the Clippers. They have a massive draft capital. They have interesting contractual obligations that they need to figure out this summer. That's fun to think about, fun to talk about, fun to discuss, and some of you worry about. But forget all that. Forget all that. We'll be doing daily podcasts in the summer too. We can talk about the draft picks. We can talk about the contractual decisions and the roster constructional decisions of this roster at that time. Right now, you should only be worried about enjoying, embracing, soaking up every minute that you have with this team, because this roster, this entire unit, this era of Thunder basketball, you'll never stop talking about for as long as you live. You'll never stop talking about this team and these guys. You never will. Nothing that they ever accomplish from here on out will compare to this. Will compare to how set up they are right now. Will compare to the chase for back-to-back championships and starting out 12-1, having the best start to a season, battling adversity while doing it, being the toast of the league. It's special. These are heights that even that first era didn't get to. And you look around, how many franchises have gotten to these heights? So you do not want to take this for granted. As the Thunder grow a 37-point lead in this game, and they were just beating down the Lakers, beating them into submission. Think of how many times this year that we've sat here in the bowels of the Paycom Center discussing a game in which the Thunder beat the ever-living pulp out of a team to the point that they are disengaged, to the point that they outright quit on the court, to the point where they want to be anywhere but in this building. They want to be anywhere else in the world than this building. That's special. And we're only in mid-November. The Lakers came out with a 5-point lead. It took one lead change, and the Thunder went wire to wire from that point. -4 on the glass, forced 20 turnovers, only gave it up 11 times. The Thunder shot, 50% from the floor. The Thunder, including garbage time, made half their shots. I guess technically if you shoot 50%, did you also miss half your shots? If the overall goal is 100%, and it's a glass half full, glass half empty scenario. Anyway, they shot 30% from three and 91% at the line. The Lakers, meanwhile, shot 40% from the floor, 33% from three, and 67% from the charity stripe. OKC was a +18 in the paint, and the Thunder, while being shorthanded, won the bench points 49-32. Yeah, I mean, there's an old country song, and I forget the singer. I want to say it was Darius Rucker, but it might have been Trace Atkins. It won't be like this for long. You better enjoy this now. You're going to miss this. I think I just confused two different songs from each artist. You're going to miss this. And also, it won't be like this for long. I believe it won't be like this for long was Darius Rucker, and you're going to miss this was Trace Atkins. I'll see if I can find a Trace Atkins cassette tape back here. And until then, we'll talk about the Thunder and SGA's personal 7-0 run to take advantage of this game and his continued improvement coming up. But first, I want to say right now, my good friends over at Built, folks. Built is awesome because guess what? We all got to pay our rent. Yes, I know. Nobody likes to do it, but it's a must. You might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payments into real rewards you can actually use. When you pay rent through Built, you earn flexibility points that can be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels, airlines, and future rent payments, or even your next Lyft ride and more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood, folks. I love that with Built, your rent finally is working for you. You're earning points every month on something that you already have to pay, and you're getting a reward for doing your job and making the payments that you have to make anyway. So Built can make everyday life feel more rewarding, from your neighborhood to your travel plans. Check them out today by turning your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbilt.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure you use the link so that way they know we sent you. Also want to tell you right now about our good friends over at FanDuel, folks. Go check out FanDuel today. It's the official sports betting partner of the NBA. There's no better place to get in on the action. Even if you miss the start of a game, perhaps tonight's 8:30 tip caught you off guard, but you could already see Shai had the hot hand. You want to place a little wager on him. FanDuel has live betting that has everything from who's going to score the next bucket to if a team can make a fourth quarter comeback. And you can even combine those live bets into same game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making a late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You place that first $5 bet as a new customer. If it hits, you get $300 in bonus bets. Head over right now to FanDuel.com. Sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thunder have a couple off days coming up, so you can enjoy the rest of the NBA on Thursday and Friday, including the Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Toronto Raptors, where Cleveland is 7.5-point favorites. Go check that out today at FanDuel.com. We're back on the Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day, here talking about the Thunder's beatdown of the Los Angeles Lakers as SGA, a personal 7-0 run, takes the lead, and they never look back. I mean, Shai, you're running out of ways to describe how great Shai is. Once again, 30 points in 3 quarters, doesn't touch the floor in the fourth quarter. And his rim finishing, it deserves to be marveled at. It really does. Like, his ability to have these high arcing shots at the rim to get over the contest, but also be soft enough where the rim gives him a friendly bounce. It's impressive. It really is. He's getting way advanced at reading the floor, both for himself and others. There was a play here where he got the stop, racing down the floor in transition, and immediately attacks Luka Doncic at the timeline to get an early foul on Luka, who kept being in foul trouble the rest of the way. He also ends the quarter by pushing the gap, splitting a double team that came late, and that late double team results in a foul. He gets 2 free throws that way as well. But overall, he had the mid-range working. He had the rim shot working. There was a couple playmaking notes, but the other rim finish from him that was really great was getting defenders to bite on that step-back tease even more now, after showing throughout the year he's going to pull the trigger. And that's what that's all about, man. It's not even so much about the overall percentages. Like, Shai doesn't need to be the best step-back three-point shooter in the league. He just has to be good enough to where teams respect it, to where it changes where you pick him up on the floor. It changes how hard you can test him at the three-point line. And if you start to run Shai off the line or fall for his pump fakes, it throws everything else out of whack. It makes his life incredibly easy. But I want to highlight his playmaking. He was 1 assist shy of a double-double, and the potential assist that he had tonight that his teammates didn't cash in would have gotten him there. But he has this drive to the rim in the mid-paint, shovel pass over to Chet for a mid-range bucket, and that's what we've harped on with Chet Holmgren, to blend the two together. Like, Chet Holmgren's inside-out scoring now has allowed him to make Shai better, because instead of having your big man always lingering around the arc, he's now available to you on drives as a dump-off option, and those two have connected a lot this season in that way. But his best pass in the night was a tie between two. I would consider the pass to iHeart better. While it's not as flashy, it's a left-handed live dribble pass that he throws on a bounce to iHeart rolling to the rim. He just simply doesn't make that pass a year ago. Just doesn't. It's just not even in his thought process, it feels like, last year, to try that pass. A live dribble lefty bounce. That was special. The behind-the-back pass to Isaiah Joe in the corner for 3, which sent the Clippers, they played like the Clippers tonight, frankly. The Lakers into a timeout, and put the Paycom Center in a frenzy again, that was a highlight reel play. The behind the back dime to AJay as AJay's in the corner and Shai's getting toward the basket. But 30 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. 9 assists, 30 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Only missed 8 shots all game, 2 for 7 from 3, 8 for 9 from the line. Missed the tech foul free throw with Luka, plus 25 in this game. I thought that Shai was excellent, and you see last year he sat out a quarter of the team's fourth quarters. This is not a math pod. I'm not a math guy. I went to Lawton Public Schools, folks. Sue me. We didn't learn math there. We didn't learn much of anything there. But I'd say that's pretty good. I'd say he's on pace to do that again this year, of resting more fourth quarters than he even did a year ago as they won 68 games with the best point differential in NBA history. That's how crazy this era of basketball is. I was surprised in a way to see Chet play on the second night of back-to-back after dealing with back soreness all year. It was good to see him out there on the second night of a back-to-back. Only had to play 20 minutes tonight. Able to draw a foul in the mid-range, getting his defender into the air. Another highlight of why that mid-range is so important. It's now leading to free throw attempts from him. He still splashes that 3 on the pick and pop. The block on Austin Reeves at the rim was awesome. And then a great cut was rewarded by Jay Whale from a big-to-big connection to get him an easy bucket as well. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks for Chet in this game. 4 for 7 from the floor, 1 for 2 from 3. And AJ Mitchell got a 4-point play on a catch-and-shoot 3, a deep 3 as well on that one. He had 10 points in 9 minutes of action. And it felt like Mark kind of pulled him a little bit earlier in the first quarter, knowing that they need to rely on his offense in the second quarter to truly get this game out of hand. But he does a great job with his setup moves, whether it be pump fakes, whether it be crossovers, just setting up opponents and dictating how they're going to defend him and how they're going to get out of position when defending him. He got that pump fake to get Rui on his hip, and once he got Rui on his hip, he takes a step inside of Rui, gets him fully sealed off as he's walking to the elbow, and hits that mid-range jumper. You just can't teach that savviness from a young player like this. It's an innate ability from AJ Mitchell. And flashes in the middle of the defense as well as an off-ball player, as a helper kind of on the backside of rotations like we're talking about with how the Thunder were blitzing Luka, and steps in, takes away a sloppy entry pass to Ayton for the steal. And it just reminded me of this quote from Mark last year, and his college coach echoed it for the story that we did on AJay at Thunder on SI. You can go check that out. But he just has a willingness to stick his nose in it. It's like the resounding opinion of AJ Mitchell. Despite his size, he's willing to mix it up, and that was great. He had Hayes on a switch, takes Hayes off the catch right into the paint. Reeves slides over to try to take a charge, and AJay, as the game is slowing down for him, dumps it off to Cason. Cason's in the dunker spot. Would have been an easy 2 points, but Hayes comes over and fouls him. So doesn't really get an assist on that play, but just shows you his processing and feel continues to improve with each passing game. So great job from AJ Mitchell. I thought Alex Caruso was incredibly active tonight, knocking down a 3, a midi early on. Great dump-off pass to Ihart for an easy slam. Chase down, steal in transition to have the hit-ahead pass to Chet. Chet waits, lets Alex Caruso come back into the play, throws him the basketball on like a give and go for a 3 from Alex Caruso. He was just awesome. He was just awesome in this game for this Thunder team. 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, plus 19. He was everywhere tonight, as Ihart puts up 11 points, 8 rebounds, a steal in 20 minutes of work, doing the dirty work, tapping out rebounds, getting second chance opportunities for this team, walling up at the rim. He's doing a lot for this roster. Should have been a double-double if the Lakers would have shown up tonight and had him actually play a typical rotation. But I want to give him another shout-out for the athletic ability to blitz Luka off screens. I was not expecting that when this game started. I was excited to see how the Thunder would handle defending Luka. I was not expecting that, and Ihart did it, and Ihart brought it tonight. And this Thunder team has a lot of roster redundancy. They have a lot of guys who play a similar style or fit into the system the same ways, and it allows for their next minute mentality to really grow and lend itself to situations like this. But for all that roster redundancy, there's no reproducing, there's no replicating what Isaiah Hartenstein is for this team. He didn't have an assist tonight, but you see how he's able to connectively pass the basketball and set guys up for opportunities offensively. You see how he's able to be physical around the rim and get rebounds and fight on the glass and fight putting bodies on guys for even possessions where he's not rewarded for it, because his job was to push a guy out of the paint to let someone else come clean up that rebound. you just don't have another guy like Ihart on this team. He is invaluable to this roster, and I think that he's been one of the best players for the Thunder this year, one of the most key contributors to their 12-1 start, and it's Isaiah Hartenstein. It's an amazingly deep roster, amazingly talented roster. I cannot wait to continue to see where this thing goes. 12-1 start for Oklahoma City, elite defense against Luka Doncic and company. And folks, this is Locked On Thunder. Thank you to the everydayers who listen to the show. Subscribe for free anywhere you get your podcast from, including on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, not only is Locked On Thunder 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, not only is Locked On Thunder after every single game, including Saturday night after the Hornets game, not only is Locked On Thunder giving you 2-hour-long live streams with Derek Parker Monday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, but starting this afternoon on Thursday, November 13th at 3:30 p.m. Central, myself, former Thunder player Jeremy Lamb, and Tyler Jones will be giving you our first installment of the Locked On Thunder Squad Show, where we're going to be teaming up together as us three on every show. We'll also bring in a rotating panel of contributors, such as just Martinez of the Oklahoman and the guests that you already know and love here on Locked On Thunder. 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. It starts on Thursday this afternoon, live on YouTube with Jeremy Lamb. Excited to be with him, excited to be with Mr. Jones, excited to be, that's a great song, by the way, Mr. Jones. Did you catch that reference? I don't know if you did, but you should have, and go listen to Mr. Jones. Song of the day, Mr. Jones. 3 music references. Maybe it's The Room and all the cassette tapes behind me that's made that happen. But anyway, that's where you're going to want to be. We're starting that in addition to everything else that we do. I love being the host of Locked On Thunder. I love providing as much content as possible, and I love all of you who listen, come up at the arenas and say hello, and all that you guys do. So thank you all for making this possible. Make sure you're there with us for our live streams, and if you can't make it live on YouTube, on Locked On Thunder's YouTube page, it will be uploaded as a podcast after the live streams end for both of those live streams, including today, 3:30 p.m. Central with Jeremy Lamb. Until then, be good, and be good to one another.